For me, it's like I want people to feel good about what they're doing or feel like they belong or like have these positive emotions about what they're doing, the work that they're doing, and feel good about it. So for me, it's like really important that we provide a space where they are having fun, they're enjoying the work that they're doing, and they're not just like coming in, clocking off, and calling it a day, because then like people vibe off that. Like they feel your energy.
Hi guys, well this is our very first podcast episode. This is super exciting.
Yeah.
We're finally doing it. By the way, my name is Ralph, and on here we have
Malyn.
And Arthur.
And so we are the three owners of Pochi currently. And we're going to use this first episode as kind of our origin story and just kind of have fun with it. That way you kind of get to know, I guess, us as the owners, and then we're kind of expand from there, bring some guests, and just kind of have fun with this. And the idea is just we want to bring a different kind of value to our customers or listeners in this case, and viewers, and just kind of, like I said, kind of bring a different level of value, not just boba. So we're thinking of, and if you guys have any ideas, definitely message us on Instagram, but we wanted to kind of name it like spill the tea or something like that, because
Spill the boba tea
because we want this to be a little spicy.
I think that's a pretty good name.
Yay or nay?
Yeah, so let us know. But I guess kind of going to our origin stories, we all, it's just funny, before we started recording this, we were talking about having all come from Marysville. And a lot of us, actually all three of us, are from Marysville. And
Sort of.
And we've kind of not always all been the same circle of friends. So why don't I start with Arthur? Arthur, I've known you since high school.
Yep.
Known of you in high school, and little known fact, Arthur was like very popular in high school.
I don't know about that.
Very popular.
No,
in high school.
Arthur, you were popular. Everyone knew Arthur.
Yeah. in not just in Pilchuck, but like he was popular outside of, like, the Atrix, right? Atrix was the name, B-boy Atrix. So Arthur, like, how'd you get started into like b-boying, man? Like, it was one day I knew Arthur of Arthur, and next thing I knew is like Arthur was the dude, and all the girls were like clamoring for Arthur.
God.
So, like, how'd you even get started in that?
Yeah, that started. Man, I started dancing back in 1998, 7th grade. From 7th grade all the way up until, man, I was dancing and training regularly just about 7 days a week, and competing all the way up until I was, I want to say, 28. So from 7th grade till I was about like 28 or so, late 20s is how long I was dancing for.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What's cool about that is, like you said, you started in 7th grade. This is when you started your dancing kind of journey. And I was just kind of saying earlier how it seemed like you came out of nowhere, and like Arthur was just like the b-boy, like in the area, like out of nowhere. But you started in the 7th grade, so it took a long time for you to get to that point.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifices. I wasn't going to parties regularly like some of my other friends. A lot of my time was dedicated to kind of just dancing and honing my craft. Took a lot of years, a lot of years of dedication, and it wasn't easy. Like, I did get pretty good after a while, and I think the thing that a lot of people don't even though, like, I've heard from other people say, kind of similar things. Oh, you used to be so good and blah blah blah. Like, you were such a dope b-boy, and you were always killing it. But what a lot of people don't realize is that with how much time I put into it, I actually, like, I still was never able to reach the level I wanted to be. Like there were some b-boys that were better than me, but didn't even train as much as I did. So I always kind of felt like I had to put in that little extra effort to compete at the level I wanted to compete at, just because I always get injured or I wasn't as physically capable as some guys that were just like naturally strong. So, but yeah.
Ah, that's awesome.
That's how I feel dancing.
Yeah.
I'm like not naturally talented.
Yeah.
So like I have to work extra hard just to be at the level that other people are.
Yep.
It's actually interesting because kind of going on dancing, like this whole group right here, our whole team comes from kind of an artistic background. So you've danced for a long time, Malyn. Like, how'd that start?
I started dancing. Gosh, my interest I think started to peak in like middle school, but I joined my high school dance team. I think my senior year of high school, and that's when I started actually dancing. And then I joined a like group, a company, a performing company, right out of high school. And then I danced for a few years and then stopped. But I've recently gotten back into
You're
it.
getting back into it.
Yeah,
like,
I am getting back into it.
twice a week.
Yes.
And you've been getting up in the morning, early in the morning to go
kicking
dancing.
my butt. But
Nice.
coming out of retirement, Arthur.
Oh, you too are there? You coming out of retirement?
I don't know about that. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'll have more space now with the new house. So.
And then the cool thing is, Malyn, basically you have two other siblings, and they also dance, and they're still dancing.
They do. Okay, so when I started dancing, my high school dance team, my sister, who's like a year younger, we're pretty close in age, she was my dance captain. And then when I joined my dance company, my younger brother, who's like 6 years younger than me, he joined the dance company too. So he and I pretty much started training at the same time. And I stopped after a few years. And then he kept going. And now he's like so good. I'm taking classes from him now.
Awesome.
So it's crazy. He's so good now.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're getting back into it because it's great exercise, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Like it keeps you kind of active and
Yeah. And I actually, the dance classes that I've been taking, I've been dancing with like some of our old employees and current employees, which is pretty cool. So yeah,
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Nice. And like I said, we're all coming from an artistic background. It is kind of interesting that we all kind of ended up in business together.
Mm-hmm.
And like here we are. Pochi is growing. I think the name is growing. The brand is growing. We kind of, I remember coming into Pochi with the green, orange, yellow, and red walls.
Yeah.
Like
They played reggae music to fit the vibe.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And you remember that cat, like when you first walk in and there was this weird catwalk that was like in front of the door.
Yeah,
that
with like the
with
little
strings.
With string things.
Yeah, I don't know what
that was,
was.
oh my goodness. Like, I don't know what they were thinking about when they did that. But
that was a fun one for kids because they were always playing on that.
Yeah.
And just like pulling at it.
Yeah.
But first, before we get into that, can we rewind? Because you didn't get to talk about your background.
That's true.
I know.
I guess coming from a different artistic background, I studied martial arts for, I think 13 years. I didn't start as early as you guys did, which is unfortunate. For the longest time, my parents didn't want me to train or anything because they think I'd get really violent or like aggressive.
Oh.
So as soon as I moved out, the first thing I did was sign up for a martial arts class.
Nice.
And I think it actually did the opposite, which is really cool. I'm still a little like anxious and like all over the place a lot of times, but it's helped me calm down. And really, I think the best part of that was not just working with kids in the community, but getting to watch them grow and like being part of their growth, being part of their transition. We had I remember this one kid who he started off, his name's Mark. He started off when he first came into the school, he was hiding behind his mom, like holding onto her leg, just shy little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And after working with him for a while, like he came out of his shell and he was like pretty much a captain of all his like baseball teams moving forward.
Aw.
And he's doing some great things. So just to see these kids like grow and just like grow into themselves and be more confident, that was like the most rewarding part. And plus I got to play with like, sticks and stuff and
Mhm.
do some crazy things. Got injured along the way, kind of like you did, Arthur. Like,
Yeah.
funny story, when I first started learning how to use a straight sword, or what people call a Tai Chi sword. I love that thing. One of my favorite weapons, right? I would practice at home, and being a broke bachelor and one roommate, our living room was completely empty. So I was swinging the sword around in the living room, and I got close to those curtains by the sliding door, and I just sliced the curtains. And my roommate comes home, and he's like, "Oh, the curtains are broken." I felt so bad, but it was great because he trained in Taekwondo too. So we he and I, like, we had our fun, kind of just living with each other and being bachelors. And gosh, back in the days of Blockbuster, that's when that was. If you guys remember that,
Yeah.
that's all we would do is we would work, we would train, and we'd rent unlimited movies as bachelors. That was just simple life. Yeah, it was a great experience I trained, like I said, 13 years, and most of that was teaching. We did some competitions. One of the best competitions, or most exciting competitions, I remember was when the day of the competition, I had to roll out of bed because my rib was out of place and had to compete with a rib out of place.
I remember hearing about
Yeah.
this.
So the whole time I was waiting for my turn, or I think I was competing in 3 or 4 different sections, but the whole time I couldn't breathe. I was just like,
Yeah.
but when I actually
Oh.
moved was the only time I could breathe, and it would just hurt so much. But like that was a memorable experience just because it's like, just pushing through it.
Yeah.
was a really, like, I think it's change in character. Like when you're going through something like that difficult, like literally physically,
Yeah.
like that difficult, it really, like, oh, if I could do this, shoot, I can push through anything. So
Mhm.
it was a fun experience, good times, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
The Kung Fu school is where I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Kung Fu school had the B-boy sessions, right?
Yeah.
The open
Oh,
B-boy
yeah.
sessions.
Forgot
So
about
when I
this.
was living in Marysville, I'd go to watch.
Yeah, I remember you'd be in the back kind of watching the B-boys and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Technically we were probably all in the same room at some point in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we even all like, I mean, yeah.
Probably even before the Kung Fu sessions. It's like if we were like all at a battle all at the same
That's
time.
true.
Like
That is true.
Mhm.
That's true.
I went to a lot of those. Arthur and I went to those together too.
yeah.
Yep. So I guess there's a little background in each of us. But I mean, kind of circling back to how we got all started. Geez, I remember the table. So I remember Arthur and I sitting at a table at Old Pochi, like with the orange, green, and yellow and red walls, and we were looking around and we're like, man, this place has so much potential.
Yeah.
And funny enough, if you guys go into Linwood Pochi, it's the table that's right in front of the register, that metal table. I think it's that table that we were sitting at.
I think it's that one.
So.
Yeah. So I've kind of made it a promise in my mind that I would keep that table around just because it's kind of has sentimental value now.
Nice.
But that was a table we kind of sat at and just looking around. It's like, man, this place has a lot of potential. And you were a contractor in Afghanistan for a little bit. So when you came back with your brand new M3, that thing was so beautiful. It was a white.
I had to treat myself a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that thing was beautiful. But I remember going to Yakima, having a long drive to Yakima and talking about it and what we could do and stuff. And then, Arthur is really good at the tech stuff because you were doing the contracting for like tech work.
Yeah, like IT and stuff.
That was your background.
That was your background. None of us had any restaurant customers. Well, we had customer service.
Yeah, because I come from a retail background.
Yeah, I did retail for a little while too. and but none of us had any restaurant history.
Nope.
So
No food or
no
beverage.
food, no food or beverage history, and I mean we were all coming from different lines of work, and said, well, we need to bring a manager in. We need somebody to run the store. We need somebody who's going to be a boss. Arthur's like, I might know somebody. And here comes Malyn. And I was like, I remember seeing you around, but I was like, I don't know her, Arthur. Are you sure we can count on her? Like, I don't know her, dude. You know, you vouch for her. Like, yeah, she's good. She's good.
Wait. So why did my name come up?
Arthur, why did Malyn's name come up?
Well,
I'm not
actually,
interested.
I don't even know if you know this. Actually, is I knew Malyn through a mutual friend, and before we decided to basically pull the trigger on the whole Pochi thing, I was actually trying to work with Malyn on different projects.
Oh,
And we were throwing ideas back and forth about like different app ideas and stuff like that. And then,
Oh,
do you remember
my
that?
gosh.
Do you remember that?
No,
I was. This is a story I'm
it's-
not aware of.
it's-
Oh,
It's triggering memories in the back of
Yo,
my
spill the
mind
tea.
now.
Spill the tea, Arthur.
I don't remember the details
Yes.
of like what for the different app ideas we had and stuff. And then I remember, I don't know if there was even like some like merch ideas thrown around. And I remember we just kept throwing ideas back and forth, and we were trying
that
things.
sounds like me, so I'm not surprised. But like that's because back then that's when I was doing like, I come from retail, but like a lot of the event
Mhm.
stuff,
Mm.
right? So I've done a lot of like concerts, b-boy jams, dance shows, a lot of just different things. So like I had a lot of ideas in the bank.
Yeah.
Like.
And that's what kind of like made me think of you as I was, speaking with Ralph about Pochi.
Aw.
Just because like I knew your retail background. Like obviously I went to the store you worked at and purchased some stuff there while you were working.
You never went to the store I worked at.
I didn't know.
Oh, do you also, side note, did you know that like Ralph and I like basically worked at the same places just at
Yeah.
different times?
Yeah, I realized that later. But yeah, small world. It's like it was all meant to be.
Yeah. Yep.
But yes, I remember all that. And then after trying to work with you on the different ideas we were trying, I remember you had a lot of great ideas, and you already had a lot of experience with events, and of course kind of like managing a store and stuff. And so I was like, she might be I think she might be a good addition. Plus, it'd be nice to have a kind of like a female
Mhm.
face along with just us two.
She's a lot easier on the eyes than we are.
Exactly.
So,
So
that's good call.
yeah, so it's I felt like I felt like she was gonna be a good addition. So
Well, I'm glad you brought her on board. Even though I was like, oh no,
Mhm.
I know about this one.
yeah, so it worked out. It worked out.
Nice.
But,
Well, so currently, right now, like we're still expanding Pochi. We're still working. We just opened our Crooklyn location. That's really exciting.
Mhm.
And the Crooklyn location is kind of like the future of Pochi, or what other locations will start looking like. It's taken us a while to get to that point.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's taken us a while to get to a point where we can open another location, and like some of our other boba shops, they open pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Why would you guys say that we've taken our time to start working on the expansion of the business and of the team and the company?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of different factors. I mean, like our first couple years in business, we were literally learning the business. We were learning how to do the work.
That's true.
So coming from like zero experience to, okay, now we have this whole business that's ours that we have to run and operate and navigate. So I think that in itself was a challenge on its own. But when we took over, it was a pre-existing business, right? Like it's been there for years already. We were all customers, but there was literally it was your typical kind of like mom and pop shop. There was like no structure or like
Lax
Mhm.
organization.
Yeah. So there, I mean, like the paperwork was like nothing. We have a whole application process and hiring process with a ton of paperwork now, right?
Yes.
I remember when we were like hiring people on when we first took over, it was like, hey, give me like your forms of identification and then that's it. Like, here, sign this paper and that's it. You're hired. We didn't really have like a whole process. So just building the systems took a little bit of time. The way that we run business and the way that our menu is designed too doesn't lend to being able to like scale so quickly either, because we have such a large menu.
Mhm.
And I mean, like people come in and they look at our menu and they're like, oh no, I don't know what to order. And I was those customer. I was that customer. I would come in and be like, I'm sticking to my taro strawberry. And that's it.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to look at the menu.
Yep.
So our menu is so large, which is really cool because not a lot of bubble tea places
Mhm.
have such a expansive menu like ours. And then we're able to like do a lot of these like customizations and create a bunch of different drinks. So just because of our inventory and our supply and our drinks, I say it's kind of harder in that aspect for a business to scale so quickly because we have so much on the menu.
That's true. It's kind of a double-edged sword though, right?
Yeah.
Like because we have so much on the menu, we are able to cater to a lot more people. Like we can reach a greater kind of audience and demographic because you can have your regular taro milk tea or your original black milk tea, or
Mhm.
heck, you can like mix match any flavors you want.
Yep.
And because of that, it's like yes, it can be overwhelming, but at the same time, man, it can be so fun.
Yeah.
Like there was one time, and this was like I believe 3 or 4 years into the running the business, I was just kind of curious. I was like, okay, we have all these flavors, all these combinations, all these. We started doing substitution for milk teas or for milk and stuff,
Mhm.
and different all sorts. We've been adding all sorts of jellies. Like when we first started, there was only like five different jellies that they were available.
It was a lot more limited.
And then
Yeah.
we started adding the bursting boba, and then we started making our grass jelly in house. So we
Mhm.
started doing a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and I was just curious, like, man, how many possible combinations are there? And through the magic of math,
Yep.
we have over 2 million combinations.
That's crazy.
Like that blew my mind. I had to do it again. Just like, is this right? But with all the combinations we have, you can literally get a different drink every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
even realize there was
Yeah.
that many.
And that
With
was
all the
years back then.
modifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was years back then. That was, I mean, we're 7 years now, right? We're in our 7th year. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And that was just maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and we've added even more since then.
Yeah. We've added like cold brew, Red Bull.
We have our Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our seasonal stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just we added white chocolate.
Mhm.
Like so, it's crazy. It is crazy what you can do now. But like I said, it's a double edged sword because yeah, first timers are like they look at our menu and it's like, what do I order?
Mhm.
So
when you guys first got together to like talk about taking over Pochi and maybe that possibility of running the business and stuff, what was like your guys' goal for the business when you guys first wanted to like acquire Pochi?
oh.
The like as like long-term goal or like
I guess what was running through your mind when you guys were like discussing like taking over Pochi? Like what was a goal for yourselves
I think well,
before I came into the picture?
I think at least for me, I guess long-term wise is more like I guess having a a stable income from, something that I invested
Mhm.
into myself versus like, going to work for another company and working for another boss. And basically, I'd be investing into them, not really myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm exchanging my time for a paycheck essentially,
Mhm.
versus like, having my own business. It's it just felt more rewarding, and being able to do things um, that weren't able to do as just like an employee or a manager of another
Hmm.
company. And it is kind of also goes back into um, maybe why we don't expand as quickly as well. Is I know a big thing for me after working for different companies was being able to kind of treat our employees better than the way we were treated as
Yeah.
employees
Oh
in a
yeah.
sense.
Hmm.
I'm sure we could always make improvements, of course. Improvements could always be made, but that's definitely one thing that um, I really wanted to be able to do, like give back a bit more to them,
Hmm.
make sure the place is someplace, the workplace is someplace our employees enjoy, our team enjoys
Yeah.
Yeah,
being
we've
at,
all
and
been in
stuff
that
like that.
spot where
Yeah.
you're just a number and you clock in and you clock out, and that
Yeah.
sucks.
And
Yeah,
especially in retail.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for you. I'm gonna
Yes.
answer your question. I got a question for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Um, so Arthur, you're like the logical, smart, grounded one. See, I'm the opposite, right? I'm like just all over the place. So
Yeah, go, go, go.
yeah, I always go, go, go. Like you guys, this is a cool part. The two of you kind of ground me, and I'm
Mhm.
like up in the sky. So it's a really good balance. But with Pochi, gosh, it wasn't even the intent of bubble tea or like it wasn't like, oh, I gotta get into a boba business. No, 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 no.
Mhm.
For a long time, like I said, like I was training and teaching martial arts, and it was a full-time gig. Um, I told my instructor, I was like, I got to do something on my own. And he's known for a long time that I was going to strike out on my own and do
Mhm.
something. I didn't know what. And it's one of those things. It's like and I think I've always had it, and kind of an entrepreneurial like fire. And
Hmm.
I just didn't know where to put it. And when Pochi presented itself, when we kind of came to know that it was for sale and we could buy it,
Mhm.
I was like, oh, this is it. And funny enough, and something I run off of too, when I presented the idea to somebody I know, he's like, are you really going to make a living selling bubble tea?
Yeah.
I'm like, watch me. Watch. And yeah, like it sucked because like for the first couple of years, like I mean, Arthur, the only reason we ever got a paycheck for the first couple of years was because our accountant said we had to,
Yeah.
and it was like $100 a check. So we were making like $200 a month for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, also the very first year, I don't know if a lot of people know this either, especially like our team now, but you guys were working pretty much full time at your full time jobs
Yeah,
um, that whole first year and a half, I think.
yeah, about year and
Somewhere
a
around
half.
there.
Yeah.
I would wake up in the morning, early in the morning, grab supplies, go back to Marysville, teach classes. When
Mhm.
classes were done, I'd come back and help close, and that was like
Yes.
almost at least 6 days a week, if not 7.
Yes. Mhm.
So actually, the weekends were great because I didn't have to teach class.
Mm.
Yeah.
That was like I only have work like Pochi to worry about.
But it was
Yeah.
still like a 12-hour day
Yeah.
because we stayed there all day.
Yep. So
Yeah.
like I guess for me, it's just kind of like that entrepreneurial fire
Yeah.
in me that I just didn't know where to go, where to put it, and it was kind of like I guess the word serendipitous that Pochi just kind of like, oh, here's an opportunity, let's do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's Arthur had the capital and like I had the crazy mind, and like here we are, like we just kind of went with it. So now my question for you, Malyn, is
Yes.
what in the world made you want to work with us?
It's a good question.
Okay. I guess because where I was at in life at that time, I went back to retail. So I was just like a manager at a retail store. And I wasn't really like I was enjoying what I was doing. Um, and I knew that I could just like climb the ladder there if I wanted to and kind of like climb the retail corporate ladder there if I wanted to. And kind of like you, I've always kind of had like this entrepreneurial like interest in business and having something of my own. Um, my family, like my parents always had like a side business growing up. In middle school, I helped my parents opened up their their business, their adult family home. So like that's always kind of like been in my world, I guess. And like even my cousins, like they always had like some sort of creative like side hustle, passion or whatever. So I grew up kind of being around all of that all the time. So the like business world was something that I've always been interested in. In some aspects, it lends itself to the event world too, like the work that I did with events. Very similar to like managing people too. So when you guys kind of approached me about it, I was like, well, you know, like what do I have to lose? Like I can always go back to retail if this really doesn't work out. But it was a new exciting opportunity for me to kind of really take the skills that I've like learned over the years and apply it to something else.
Yeah.
That's not retail, because I feel like retail wasn't like fully taking advantage of like my full potential per se. So doing this was definitely like way outside of my comfort zone. So I thought it would be like a really cool challenge to really just get into.
Nice. And that's it's an important point you made, is kind of getting out of the comfort zone, because we all took risks. We all left something stable. Um, and we all jumped into something that we had no clue. Like
No idea.
for the first month of before we actually signed the papers to buy Pochi, we worked at Pochi for a month just to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
I quit my
everything works out.
job.
Yep.
I wasn't making an income for a few months.
But yeah, you were making it. You were making zero for a full month working here, learning how everything went.
Yes.
So that was a huge sacrifice on your part, and that was a risk. That was a huge risk. And then I don't know what made you decide to let me borrow the money that you let me borrow to put down for Pochi, but I mean that was a huge risk too.
I don't know. I mean, I guess like I said, it was just I thought of that as, you know, an investment, you know, not just an investment for myself, but just an investment for like I guess for our future, you know, like, and especially if this was something we were gonna stick through long term, I felt like that, you know, this was gonna be worth it, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, back then, as I'm thinking about how much it was, yeah, you know, it was a lot of money, but no, I guess there's that. I guess it's kind of a cliche saying with that, with great risk comes great reward.
Yeah.
I guess is what I was really thinking at the time. I mean, like you, I felt stuck where I was, and essentially, I just came back from my job overseas as I was deployed, and I came back to the job that I actually got fired from.
I remember that. That was
And so I
insane.
felt extra, like I really felt locked in, and I was like, I can't believe I came back to this place. And so, yeah, I felt like taking the risk of investing that money into us, you know, into the business was going to be worth it, versus being locked in at a place that I actually got fired from.
Yeah, that's
So,
insane. Oh, I remember
yeah.
that too. And here's the thing: what I really kind of I guess is full circle, because we kind of went into this with, like I said, kind of a lot of risk, not knowing a lot of things, and we wanted to do something bigger than ourselves, right? And kind of like what you said earlier, it's kind of paying it forward, because now we get to do this and we get to provide other people with that opportunity as we grow. I know this is like our intention as we continue to grow. Yes, we're going to keep opening more stores. The purpose or the intent behind opening more stores isn't just to open more stores, it's to provide other people with opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have. Like our store managers right now, like, yes, like one of them may have a college degree and the other one may not. And a lot of the people that move up into the company, and I say company specifically because when you say company, and this is kind of weird, right? I like to explain this a bit more. when I say company, I really mean company, because when you say, what do you say when you're around good people?
You're in good company.
You're in good company. So I refer to our company as company because when I say company, I think of it as the people.
Mhm.
So as we grow the company, we're growing the people,
Mhm.
and we're providing those people with opportunities that I would think that otherwise they wouldn't have. Or I've also said this to a lot of our team, like, I want you to leave here if at any point in time you are leaving, because this is kind of a stop and go for some people. I want you to leave here better than when you came in.
Yep.
Like, I want you to be like next level when you leave. And this, I think the saddest I'm ever have been is when somebody leaves here and they're like, they've left here and they're not better. Like, man, how did I fail them? Like, what
Yeah.
can I do better next time?
And it's kind of what we always say about, like, we're in the people business,
Mhm.
right? We're not in the bubble tea business. We're in the people business.
We just happen to sell boba.
Yep, exactly.
100%. I agree with that. Like, that's the driving force, I think, for all of us. And we execute on that in a different way.
Yeah, which is cool because I think, like, we've all brought our different takes on how we want to treat people and, like, how we want to serve them, like, especially our employees and our business, through our past experience too, because there's a lot of stuff that we do behind the scenes, in the way that we run our business that a lot of people don't see, right?
Mhm.
Like, or maybe only internally, like our employees, our staff, and our team will see it. But like safety, like physical safety, for example, because you know how crazy Linwood's getting now. But like, I don't think people realize how like personal safety and like physical safety in our store and how vigilant we are in keeping an eye on our store, whether it's what's going on inside or on the like in the parking lot or whatever. Like, I don't think people have realized we've like probably diverted a lot of like really shady stuff that's been going on or like really regulated a lot of stuff just for everyone's safety, so everyone feels safe being here physically.
Yeah, it's a lot that's changed, I think, over time, and so always going to continue to change.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's safety is definitely a priority. Everyone's growth is what we want to make sure that we're like continuing to provide, or at least a platform, or a space for them to do that, a safe space for them to do that. Yeah.
And just kind of like taking what we've learned in our past like job experiences. Like, I know we've all had like something in our past like work experience that we are like, we want to do better than this.
Yep.
Right. So I know, like, for me, just like treating people like they're a real person and not just like a number, right? And I know like that's for a lot of people too. Like, I know that was for you too, like, especially like you wanted to make sure that our employees like felt heard and were taken care of.
Yeah.
So what were like some of those things for you guys?
I want to refer back to a kid that I taught. His name is Joey. Joey, if you're hearing this is you, man. Funny kid. He wasn't the best, right? He struggled learning martial arts. He kind of like physically, and there are some things. They're kids, right? But he had a little bit extra challenges in learning. And after like a little bit of time, it was a big challenge being with him on the floor, because I can relate. He's like ADHD and like all over the place, kind of like me. So one day something clicked and he got it, and he was just there and he stopped. I'm awesome. And I'm like, yes. Yes, that's it. It's like he still wasn't the greatest, but he believed in himself. And I think that's like I said, one of the driving forces is getting our team to be better than they were when they first started. When they leave, I want them to believe that they're awesome and that they can achieve it. Because whether you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
Whether you say you can or you can't, you are absolutely right. And if they leave here saying that, hey, I can't accomplish what I set my mind to, we've done our job. Like, great. I'm happy. Go do your thing.
I'm like an emotional person. So like I'm all about the feelings. So like I for me, it's like I want people to feel good about what they're doing or feel like they belong or like have these positive emotions about like what they're doing, the work that they're doing, and feel good about it. So for me, it's like really important that we provide a space where they are having fun, they're enjoying the work that they're doing, and they're not just like coming in, clocking off, and calling it a day, because then like people vibe off of that.
Yeah.
Like they feel your energy. So
Yeah.
and I think with our team now, it's like that's a huge part of our work culture, is being able to enjoy the work that they're doing while still working hard.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest driving factors is our work culture.
Mhm.
Like we have our 3 core values of the business, right?
Yeah.
The team is family, the customers are family,
We
take
take
care,
care.
and then third one is take care of family. We take care of family. But we specifically put team first.
Yeah.
Team is family.
Yeah.
Second is the customer. And people are like, why? Customers should be number one. Actually, if you put the team first, they will take good care of the customers.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right. And then hence we are able to accomplish the second core value.
Yeah.
So by doing things that we don't profit as much as other spots because like some of the benefits that we provide. I don't know of any boba shops, and like if they do, this is great. Like if other boba shop owners, if you guys are listening, this is great. Like super great. Yes, you make some sacrifices, but so far, like how many places offer a 401k? Yeah, we have a 401k plan for our employees. We have a corporate membership card, corporate membership for the gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're working a certain amount of hours per week, like you're probably drinking enough boba, go work your ass off. Like go work out, right?
And
like,
then they'll go work out together.
And they'll work out together.
Yes.
This is great. Like how many times have I been there lifting and there's like, hey Ralph, I was like, oh, you're here too. And you're here too. It was like, oh gosh, it's like I'm still at work. So then what else? Like
I know in like retail, like I know like it always sucked having to go, like working at a mall, having to like go on lunch, but then go buy your lunch, and then that's like an hour's worth of work.
Yeah.
Like you break down the cost of it.
Yeah, we get food a lot for the team.
A lot.
Stuff.
Like a lot.
And our store managers have an allocation for like snacks and stuff for
Lots
fun.
of snacks.
Yeah, they always have snacks. There's another one. So they had the 401k, medical and dental.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that too.
We do birthday bonuses.
And we do
That's fun.
So like yes, we take less home on purpose so that we can give more to the team, because the happier they are with each other in the same areas, like just hanging out, feeling like it should be a third home for them, right? In fact, sometimes they come here to work on their homework because they don't want to be home. I don't blame them. I can't get anything done at home sometimes. I don't even work from home. Like we can do a lot of work from home, but I don't work from home. They come here to do their homework because they feel comfortable here. And it's like, if they're comfortable and happy here, man, the customers are 110% taken care of.
It's true.
Like they take care of our customers better than I can take care of our customers. And that makes me so happy.
Some of our customers I've had come up to us and they were like in shock. They would be like, how do you get your team to work so hard? Or like, because they're just like busting their butts off and like working so hard and like moving. You can see the hustle in their movements, right? Like you can see them working really hard to like get drinks out fast and stuff. And I just remember there was this one day, one of our customers was like, how did you get them to do that? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is our work culture here. We've worked really hard at it, but it's hard to kind of explain that in like a 2-second interaction with this customer that I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But
and here's the thing, we worked hard to get there and we're continuing to work hard to keep it and maintain it and elevate it, to continue to elevate it.
Yeah.
It takes work.
Yeah.
It takes work. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So
and we teach this when we hire them. And I think that's also kind of like something that really helps keep the ball rolling for our work culture, is the fact that we like teach that right off the bat too. Like people come in knowing that if you want this place to be exactly how you see it, it takes work.
Yep.
Like you got to put in the work to get it there, and you got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
it doesn't just happen out of nowhere.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of hiring, our next episode is going to be on some hiring stuff, some hiring tips, tricks,
Yeah.
interview tips. Because, man, we've been through some fun ones, and we've been through some awesome ones. We've been through some fun ones, but you guys are all gonna have to tune in for the second interview or second episode, because we're gonna go through some of our some things that we've experienced and some things that might help you guys. Who are applying for either with us or with any other job, honestly.
Yeah.
And we want to be able, like I said from the very beginning, I want to be able to deliver that added value for a lot of our listeners, customers, and whatnot.
Or maybe future employee.
Or future employees,
Yeah.
future team members. I don't like saying employees. I don't like that. Crew members, team members,
Yeah.
and heck, if it helps you in a future job, great.
Mhm.
You know, or somewhere where you're trying to get. So tune in next time for a second episode. But until then, hey guys, thank you so much for hanging out
Yay.
and chatting.
Thank
And there
you.
goes
Our
our
first episode.
our origin story. Right on. All right, thanks guys.